If the vendor is already working in this domain, I would strongly recommend you to go through his past work and then give him the assignment, because a lot of them I have like a very practical case study wherein a company outsourced its discovery phase to a third party. The third party understood the problem statement and everything, and they created a discovery phase which was almost exact replica of his competitor,
Right.
including the wireframes, including the UI also, by just a little bit of tweaking here and there. We did not understood that it is a replica for quite a while, but after the product was developed and was released, then when we come to know when we came to know about, oh, there is a competitor and their UI is way too similar to the one that we have built, and that's wherein the whole thing went down. Oh, why did we even do the discovery phase?
Right.
So I feel closely monitoring the vendor's work and the competitive brands that he's working with, and what kind of work he's doing with those brands, as well as being very clear with the vendor that we won't be accepting a replica work,
Yes.
is one thing that should be that should be focused on. Second thing, if you're working with a vendor who has not worked in your industry, that's still fine, I feel.
Yeah.
Because there are multiple brilliant projects that we at Thumbstack have created wherein we had zero knowledge about that domain. We have learned that domain right from the ground up and then delivered exceptionally good results, exceptionally well performing products. Not only that, we have also combined our knowledge of other domains, the other problems that we solved in that domain. We have modified those strategies and then put it to work in this, whatever the domain was. So I feel understanding the domain is just part of discovery phase.
Yes,
the
absolutely.
team is equipped, the technology is available, the resources are available throughout the internet, plus you have a point of contact that you can give it to them, and then you can outsource. So I think if somebody has the domain knowledge or not is not that big of a deciding factor, because it's knowledge and it can be learned.
Yes. And I would actually add on to your point, which was somebody who does not have the knowledge about a particular domain would actually go out and learn about the domain. They would do their own research, right? And you hold a potential risk with somebody who has experience in the similar domain, because they would think that we already know everything about the domain, and they do not do the new research, which is required at that stage. And that is a potential risk. But again, that can be very easily mitigated by the same team who has experience, but they're still open to researching or learning the new trends of the same domain, right? So at the end, as I was saying, it comes down to the kind of team you're working with, but there is a potential risk of that as well, that somebody might think, oh, cool, we know everything about this, so we are the right fit. But somebody who does not has more eagerness to learn about that domain, and again, the output can differ accordingly.
Okay, so now that we are all set with the vision discovery phase, let's talk a bit about how do somebody start the development. Okay, let's talk in terms of a company who already have a tech team, as well as a company who has no tech team and is going to outsource it. Let's just focus on the first part, then the second part.
Sure. So I would, in order to answer that question, I'll tell you my thought process of when it comes to developing products, right? And my thinking is that whenever you set out to build anything, and the team that is building it needs to have the team members, in fact, down to the team members, need to have certain strengths that directly complement the product they're building, right? And the strengths are not, again, related to the kind of domain we are working in. It's not related to the industry, but it's related to the kind of product we are trying to build and how people think, because everyone's different, right? Even the developers, I know there are two people sitting in front of us, and both are developers, and both of them can say develop something on using React, but both of them have completely different thought processes, right? So as owning and running a tech company, I would say it is very important for us to be choosing the right team, right? So when it comes to having an internal tech team doing your build, it's very important to know that if these guys who are sitting here and actually doing the build, can they build this product, and are they the right fit for building the product? And when I'm saying the right fit, it's not the technology. It's not knowledge of knowing how to build, but it's the fit. Do they complement the product that they're trying to build?
Yeah, I agree to you on this point. I think a lot of times what I have seen is that the stakeholder has some idea and a concept to build. They do the discovery phase, etc. And then once they have the feature set and everything in front of them, what they do is they already have a team. They tell their team that, boss, you have to develop this product. And with whatever skill set that team has, they start building it, irrespective of what tech they are going to build this in. And a lot of time, then what happens is the product that is being built has a lot of limitations. So what my thoughts are, you don't build a product depending upon the team. You build a team based on the product. So if your product requires, say, a developer who is great at building React applications, if your product requires a person who has immense knowledge of WebSockets, if a product requires that some tech guy who is great at building real-time communication and big data, so then you have to choose that instead of just upskilling your current team. Because what happens is, I mean, in certain cases it does work by upskilling your team, but in most of the cases, if you just get an expert on board, he does the work better than somebody who has just got upskilled.
Yes.
So building your team who will be developing a product is very, very, very essential. Don't just use your current team if it does not have what it takes to build a product. Just get a new team, either outsource it to somebody or get a resource on board on contract.
Yes.
Maybe you have a team who already have half of the resources available. Probably a React, you already have React guy, you already have a big data guy, and you need somebody who does great WebSocket. You get that guy onboarded, contracted. But build a great team with all the skill set that is required, and of course, rightly you mentioned, the right attitude to build the product. A lot of time, so what generally I do is I divide an employee, or I divide a teammate into two parts, which is skill set and will set. If a person has a skill set or he's lacking in certain parts of doing this tech, you can you can train him, you can give him certain courses and he can be upskilled. But if somebody is having a low willpower, then mostly you won't be able to do anything. Even if he's an expert in what he does, if he's not willing to do it, if he's not willing to take a certain approach, if he's not willing to do whatever it takes to build a product, the talent has no value here. He's eventually going to lose the talent. So I feel these are the pointers that a company who already has a tech team should consider while building a team.
Absolutely.
Let's discuss about a company who has no tech team yet wants to build a product, and they have already surpassed the discovery phase.
Yes, absolutely. In that case, again, now they don't have an internal tech team, and they have two options in this scenario as well. Either they get people on board internally, or they engage with an external tech company that's going to build the product for them. Now, in both the cases, I would say it's more feasible from a cost point of view as well, and more viable in getting an external tech team to actually do it for you. Reason being, when you're trying to get an internal tech team, you're going to try to obviously make sure you get people on the right salaries to have right costs and everything. And maybe even that would be cheaper as compared to having an external tech team. But you would not have, you would miss out on the opportunity of having people who can work on that particular niche and are very experienced on that niche. And if you try and build a team of 5 very experienced people, that's going to be very expensive. And then if you try and build a team of having 1 experienced person and 4 at par people, that might not give you the right output. So when you go to an external tech team who live and breathe actually building products, and it's their livelihood, they have all the right people there. They have the right team there, and they have the right knowledge, the expertise that you need. When you take the product to them, they will know who within their team would be the right fit to build this product, right? And that would give you a much better output in terms of your build.